This is number 6. I put it all together. Like I said, put the power here on the breaker for the batteries. Try to turn it on. It just won't turn on. Okay. I'm just gonna disconnect it and keep it off. And on number 3, I already put the capacitor here on number 3. I had the solar panel disconnected. I don't want any problems. Power is on right now. And I'm gonna put a module here. I'm gonna put the lower part of the inverter where the power button is and see if it turns on, but I don't think it's gonna turn on. Like I said, I think I already tried it. I already tried on this one. I was actually gonna take the part from this one and put it on number 1, and make sure that it's a working part where the switch is. And this is a working inverter number 1, okay? But anyway, I'll try this part here for number 3 and see if it works. But it happened on number 6, it didn't work, and I'm gonna check it right now. But this part actually from number 3, it works. But we know inverter number 3 doesn't work, inverter number 6 doesn't work. They don't power up. Anyway, let me pause this and put that part. This part here, I'm just holding it. I don't even have to turn it on. It's off. If I turn on the power for my solar panels, it'll turn on the inverter because it'll go into charging mode. Okay, so there. And this is the lower part from number 3 inverter. So we know this part is good. So there's something wrong with number 3 and number 6 inverter. They don't work at all. I can connect the power from the batteries. They don't work. I put the capacitors. They don't work. Okay. So we have to find out what the problem is, because these units actually they're working good. And then this one here, if I connect the power from the batteries, okay, so there the power from the batteries is connected, and I turn on the inverter, works good too. There. Now the inverter is working. It's kind of late right now. It's almost 7, but I mean the inverter is still, still getting a little bit of power from the solar panels. Not much, but we're in California, so we're still getting a little bit of power. I don't know if you noticed that, but it light up there. So there it shows a little section for the PV, for the solar panel. So it is getting power. I can change here. And by the way, when I turn on this inverter, I have it connected to a fan, so the fan will turn on. But take a look there. You see there's power coming in. And I can show you the amount of power and everything, but there's no need for that. But we can tell there's power coming in. Let me pause this again because I need to take it apart and put the part that belongs here. Actually, I need to take this one apart too and put the capacitor. I already put capacitor from 2 units, but I still have to put the other unit together. The one that I put the second capacitor. So I'm gonna keep going with all of them, put the capacitors. Okay, let me pause the video. Okay, I put this unit together. This is number 1. This is inverter number 1. And it's late right now. It's around 6:43. I thought it was almost 7. But anyway, it's around 6:43, 6:44. And you can see the voltage here. Voltage is low, 158. And we're only getting 188 watts. It's not, it is on. So the inverter is on. So I have a fan connected. The fan is blowing. But if I turn it off, it still is going to stay on because we have a little bit of power coming in, like I was saying. Okay. There's a little bit of power coming in on the solar panels. Well, this one's showing 6 watts now, so it's not much. But anyway, I'm gonna turn it on because this one I have it on a schedule. So it's gonna turn off automatically, and it's gonna go to charging mode. It goes to charging mode at a certain hour, and then tomorrow morning it'll turn on again. Because these units are working as singles right now. They're not working in parallel. But what I'm gonna be doing is, I guess I'm gonna finish putting all the capacitors that I got from the manufacturer of these units, and then try to find out. Well, actually, I'm gonna share this video with them for them to tell me what's next to check why the other 2 units that don't power up anymore. Like I said, these lower power units, they're working. They're working real good. I check all of them. They're all working. So even the 2 units, like this one that I have apart, that I put the little capacitor here. Okay, I put the capacitor there. Number 6, I put the capacitor there too, but they don't power up. This section is working. Okay, So we know there is another problem on these units and they don't power up. I don't know what the problem is, and that's the reason I'm gonna be sharing the video with you, Cindy. Okay, so this one here, I know same thing. Same thing as number 6. It's dead. It just don't power up. I already put the capacitor. That makes no difference. I haven't put them in parallel yet, because I need something working. So first, I need these 2 units back to work, where they can be charging and everything. And then I can spend the day putting everything. Well, it doesn't take a day. I can probably spend 30 minutes or whatever, or 40 minutes, whatever, or some kind of time like that, to put them in parallel again and get everything going again in parallel. But I need all the units working. We only have 4 units working out of 6. We need all 6 working. Because I have these 2 units that are not charging my batteries. So right now I'm barely making enough power to recharge my batteries during the day. It takes longer to recharge when we only have 6. We only have 4 inverters working. With all 6, doesn't matter if it's cloudy, doesn't matter if it's raining. As long as there's daylight, I can still recharge. And when all 6 are working, there's sunlight, I can recharge real early in the morning. Real early in the morning, I can be at 100%. But like I said, these 2 units are not working. They don't work. They were working in charging mode, and that's when they stopped working, and they're not working anymore. On the other unit, I checked these fuses here. I know these fuses are for input, but I just to check something. I checked those fuses. They were good. I'm gonna do the same on this one, but I already noticed this unit. I put the capacitor. I put the lower panel here, lower section. Turn on the power and everything, and try to see if it was working. It doesn't work. But I'll share these videos with you. Okay, Cindy? Thank you. Bye. Okay, number 3 here is all put together with the original lower part. And the power's on here on the inverter. Coming from the batteries. Power's on. So there's power there. I can disconnect it just to show you. Power's disconnected. Power's on. Okay. So there's power going to the inverter. I still have the solar panels disconnected. We don't need that to test it anyway. But capacitor is installed. And if I turn on the switch, power switch here, it won't turn on. It won't turn on at all. So this thing is dead. So the capacitor is not going to help with that problem. We have another problem. And like I said, this part is good. I already tested this part on another inverter, and it's working good. So Cindy, please do me a favor and check with your technical support. See what else they want me to check on these units. Like I said, I already put the capacitor. So the capacitor is not a problem. And I'm going to be putting the capacitors to all of them, but I'm going to have to be shutting down the power to each section of the house. Like I said, I split this in several loads. So I'm going to be doing the first one. That's the one for my pool equipment. That's not a problem. At this time, we're not using the pool equipment. And we don't have that much power coming in. So that's not a problem. So I'm going to turn it off right now, and I'm going to put the capacitors on that one. And then I'll turn it back on just to see how it's working with the capacitor. But I don't think it's going to make any difference. It might make a difference on those. I think the reason for the capacitors was for the power going out to the solar panels. And that's probably going to help with that. But the problem right now is number 3 and number 6, they don't turn on. We need to make those turn on. Those inverters, they have to power up, either with the solar panels or with the batteries. If they power up with the solar panels, they can be in charging mode. That's how they were working before. The batteries were connected and they were charging, but the inverter was off. The section here was off, but it was in charging mode all the time until they died. The 2 of them, they totally just didn't turn on anymore. So right now, those 2 sections of the solar panels, they're not working anymore. Each one is connected to 12 solar panels, and they're not working. So we're not getting that power. That's why it's taking us longer to recharge every single day. And of course, what we're trying to fix is the parallel, and that's the reason we're putting the capacitors. So I'm going to be putting all the capacitors on the other units. But before we get to make them work in parallel again, we actually need to get these 2 units working. They need to power up. That way I can get more power out of my solar panels. And after we get all the units working, then we can try to put them in parallel again. Because right now, if I'm disconnecting and reconnecting everything, I'm going to be without power in several sections of my house. We don't want that. And if it doesn't work in parallel, then I have another problem. Like I said, I don't want to be without power. For now, since April 8th, I've been having all these units working Not all of them. I mean, there's just the 4 units that are working. The 4 units that are working, they've been working 24/7 without any problems, non-stop. Okay, the ones that died, well, they're there. They don't power up. We have the capacitors. By the way, look at this one. This one here, it just went off. It's in charging mode. We have a schedule for this unit. This is great. It works beautiful. This unit, we have it on a schedule, like around this time. Let me see what time is it. 6:59. Okay, like around this time, it'll turn off, and the next day in the morning, it'll power up again. This is the one working for my pool equipment. So it'll power up earlier than when the pool equipment's gonna start. So it'll start. By the way, it'll power up earlier with the sunlight, and it'll go into charging mode. Then, with the schedule that we have, it's gonna turn on and start generating power for my pool equipment to work. It's just great the way it's working. But we have it working as a single unit. We didn't split this. We didn't put them in parallel. All these units are working in singles. They're all split. They're all working in singles. Okay, so we have 4 units working and 2 that are not working. And what I'm gonna be doing right now is just gonna take this one apart and I'm gonna put the capacitor. And then turn it back on again and see actually if the power goes out at night like it was before, actually, like it used to go out at night. We can check for that. Okay, so anyway, let me pause this and let me take it apart. Thank you. Cindy, this is inverter number 1, and this unit is working properly. So to this unit, well, it's working properly. It's a single unit, not in parallel. So we're gonna put the capacitor to this unit here. Power is disconnected. Power from the solar panels is off. So everything's off. So I'm just gonna take this thing apart here, remove this little cover here, and put the capacitor. Put the capacitor and then put it all back together. And then the reason I guess we're doing this is because the power was going out at night when the unit was off. And it was actually getting power out to the solar panels. So I guess after we put the capacitor, that's gonna stop. Well, that was the purpose, I believe, of that. But anyway, we'll put the capacitor on this one. And like I said, we're not gonna put the rings yet. I first need the other 2 inverters working. That way I can put everything together in parallel. I don't wanna do 4 in parallel with 2 units that are not working, or try to put it all in parallel with 2 units that are not working, because it's not gonna work. We need all the units working to put all 6 in parallel, okay? Anyway, I'll put the capacitor and keep going right now. I'll put the capacitor on this unit right now. It's real simple. Just those 2 little screws that I need to get them loose. Remove this paper, put it in, and then just fold the wires like they said, just bend the wires a little and put it behind this metal and put this back to where it belongs. So it is simple. My main concern right now is the other 2 units that are not working. But anyway, I'll pause the video and put the capacitor. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I already put this capacitor here. It's connected. Okay, it's connected over there to the other, to the wires down there, the ones that come from the solar panels. So this is connected right now. Okay, you can see it, they're connected. So basically what I need to do is I need to bend the wires and put everything back the way it was. I need to bend the wires back there. Doing it with a single hand, but anyway, that's what it takes, just that. And then I'll put this one here, there, and the other one where it belongs to. But on the other one, I probably need my 2 hands there. Let me pause this. And those are the instructions that you gave me, to put the capacitor there, to bend the wires and put everything back together the way it was, and that's the way it is right now. I'm gonna put the covers and everything, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on the solar panels, and see if it gives a little bit of power to the inverter to power up in charging mode, and then I'm just gonna check to see if power is going back to my solar panels like it was before. So we'll check for that right now. Okay, so anyway, I'll put it all together right now. Let me pause the video. Okay, so inverter number 1 is all put together again, and it has a capacitor in it. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna just turn on the power from the batteries to the inverter. Okay, inverter was on, so it turned on basically automatically because I didn't have it off. It was on. So the moment I turned on the power, the inverter went on. Okay. And I'm going to turn on the power also from the solar panels. But like I said, it's almost nighttime here in California right now. It's 7:19. So we still have a little bit of light, but not much, okay? Not much. So let's see. Let's see what we're looking at here. Okay, there's no power coming in. There's no power coming in. By the way, this unit was on a schedule. So I had it off. I had to check what my schedule is, but it's supposed to turn off and just go into charging mode. And it's probably gonna do that. See that? Okay, so it's part of the schedule. I didn't move the power. I didn't do nothing here. I didn't move the power. I didn't move the solar panels. But you see, it turns off and it turns on because right now is when the power is kind of like, the light is kind of like stopping and, well, we're running out of light basically. So there's no power coming in. There's a little bit of power coming in, you know. But it's gonna get, when it gets totally dark, then it's just gonna be off. It's gonna be in charging mode. Right now, it's still kind of like getting a little bit of power, so it turns back on, or it'll turn off and turn back on, you know, and that's normal. Because this unit, like I said, at night it goes into just charging mode, and in the morning with the schedule it'll turn on. First, before the schedule, it'll turn on with the daylight power from the solar panels. And then it's just, at that point, it's gonna be in charging mode. And then with the schedule, later, it's gonna actually turn on the power, and that's when my pool equipment is gonna turn on. By the way, my pool equipment also has smart features and everything, so it's gonna always wait for the inverter to give power, and then the inverter, after the inverter is providing the power, then my pool equipment will turn on with the switches that are also on another schedule. But anyway, that's not the point right now. The point that we have is we put capacitors to this inverter to make sure that this is not giving power back at night to my solar panels. Because right now the power's on here, and what it was doing before, power from the batteries was going out to the solar panels. So I had to check with my multimeter there, see what's going on. I'll pause this right now. Okay, so right now, I know it's late, like I told you, it's not dark yet, so we still get a little bit of power from the inverters. And we're showing here 119.4. So that's the voltage that we're getting from the solar panels right now, okay? And by the way, if you see here on the panel here, you can see charging. This inverter, like I said, is on a schedule. So right now, the inverter is off, the inverter part, but the charging mode is still there. As long as we have daylight, the charging mode is gonna be there. So if I turn off this breaker, we don't supposed to have this 119 volts anymore. But what normally is supposed to happen, we don't supposed to have any voltage. And that was the reason of putting that capacitor. Let's see what happens. Let me turn off the power here and then check again. Let me pause this because I'm doing it with a single hand. But you can see the switch here, the blue switch, and the red dots over there. That means it's on, okay? So I'm gonna turn it off right now. Okay, we still have a little bit of voltage here. The capacitors are kind of controlling the power going out. Take a look at that. We don't have any power coming from the solar panels. The switch is off, but the power is dropping. I think the capacitors are absorbing the power that before was coming out of the inverters. The inverters before were actually giving me the full voltage of the batteries going out. And it doesn't look like it's doing that. Now it's 0.02, 0.3, 0.4, and it's kind of changing, but there's no large amount of voltage going out. And it looks like they might be working. You see that? That's 0.6. So we're getting less than 1 volt going out to the solar panels. Before, we used to get like 30, 40, 50, or whatever, you know. Sometimes whatever the voltage was, even more than the voltage of the batteries going out to the solar panels. So now we're not even getting 1 volt. It's going now we're to 1 volt, 1.03. But still, it's not dramatically like it was before. Before at night, it was giving large amount of power or voltage going out to the solar panels. Now I can see that it's going up. 1.2 started with, I mean, it was dropping first and now it's actually going up. But anyway, I'll check later and let you guys know what's going on. But right now I'm only with one hand doing all this, So, but I'll check. It's 1.3 right now. And it looks like it's going up. So we'll see if the voltage goes up real high. I'll pause the video right now. See, the voltage now is at 2.06. The voltage slowly keeps going up, okay? There is power going to the inverter, but the inverter is off because I turned off the switch for the solar panels. But the inverter is off because of the schedule, okay? I didn't turn it off. If you take a look at the switch is pressed, okay? So the inverter is off, but it'll turn on automatically tomorrow morning again because of the schedule. If I turn on the solar panels here, then we're gonna have a small amount of voltage coming in, but at least our voltage drop. We have 2.16. Before it used to be, like I said, the amount of voltage of my batteries going out to the solar panels. Now I can see 2 point something. I have to check later and see if it goes going up. I hope it doesn't, because we don't want large amounts of voltage going out to the solar panels. That's not good. It might be discharging my batteries, or who knows, it might even damage my solar panels. Okay, but anyway, right now with those that capacitor that they told me to put, the voltage is 2.2. Might not look that good, but you can see it there, 2.2. So anyway, I'm gonna give it more time and check again. And let me pause the video. Okay, we're gonna check the voltage again. I apologize, I'm doing this with one hand, okay? Okay, there's the voltage again. 2.50. That's the voltage coming out of my inverter when it's off and the power connected. And that's the voltage going to my solar panels. So that is low voltage comparison to what it was before. Before it was giving voltages of like 30, 40, 50, in some cases even 80. I was like, what the hell's going on, Power going out to the solar panels at night. But anyway, the seller of these units contacted their technical support, and they sent me a capacitor to put in it, and that's why now the voltage coming out is lower. Okay, voltage coming out of the inverters to the solar panels is less, and I'm probably gonna have to be less concerned about my solar panels getting damaged, or the inverter getting damaged, or something getting damaged, or even discharging my batteries at night. But right now, it's not completely nighttime, but I'm gonna show you something. On this side, the switch is off, by the way. Switch is off, but take a look. We're still getting some daylight, so the voltage is 228, 227. And of course, it's gonna be dropping as it gets darker. So there, 227 volts, that's what we're getting. And on the other side, it's only like 2 volts. It's like 2 volts, Yeah, 2 point something. Because that's the power that is coming out of the inverter connected to my batteries when it's off, or when it's in charging mode. And right now it's supposed to be in charging mode. If I turn on the breaker here for the solar panels, because it's not totally dark, it might turn on again. So let's see. Well, didn't turn on, so I guess we don't have enough light to, oh, there is enough light to turn on the inverter. But if you take a look, now we're gonna have higher voltage. But that's voltage coming in from the solar panels, and that's understandable. It's not the voltage coming out of the inverter to the solar panels. So this one right now, it shows like 190 something, 180 something. It's dropping. 150 something, 130 something. But like I said, we don't have enough voltage, so it's getting dark outside. Okay? We don't have enough voltage coming, or wattage coming from the solar panels. We might have some voltage, but not wattage. It's just not enough power. It did turn on my charging mode here on the inverter. But like I said, the inverter is not working right now. The inverter will turn on tomorrow morning with the schedule. Okay? Anyway, Cindy, this is what's going on. I already put one of the capacitors. It looks like it's doing better, a lot better, because it's stopping the power from going out to the solar panels. It is totally less power. So far, I was able to see like 2 point something volts, and not something drastic like it was before. It was all the power from all the voltage from my batteries was actually going out to the solar panels, and now it's not doing it anymore. It did drop. Then I'm going to be doing the same to all the other units. I'm going to be putting all the capacitors. I already put 2 capacitors, as I mentioned to you before, but I put one on inverter number 3, and I put another one on inverter number 6. But these are the inverters that are not working. We need to find out what's going on, because these inverters are totally not working. They don't power up. And I already tried different lower parts of the inverter, and that doesn't make any difference. And I tested this parts of the inverter on other inverters that are working, and these parts are working. Okay, so we have inverter number 6 and inverter number 3. These 2 units are not working. So you can see the other ones, they're working great. This one here, we have it working, but like I said, I had to split the load. They're working as singles. These units are working since April 8. Since April 8, they're working 24/7. I know I'm gonna have to turn off the units now, because I'm gonna have to open them to put the capacitors. So I'm gonna have to turn them off. So just sections of the house, they're gonna be without power, for now and during the time that I put the capacitors. But I'm gonna do it one by one like I've been doing it. I did the one for my pool area, so it's no big deal, It's just the pool. Right now at night, I'm not gonna be using the pump. I'm not getting enough power for the solar panels. I'm not getting any power for the solar panels. So that's why I was able to do that one first. But then I have to do the other, let me see how many I have. I have 3 more going. 3 more that I have to do. One is for the house. The other one is for my party room. And the other one is for another little house that I have in the middle of the property here, like a guest house. So I need all 6 units working. So we have 2 units that are not working. One is number 6, and the other one is number 3. They already had the capacitors in it, but that doesn't make any difference. For some reason, they don't turn on with the batteries or with the solar panels. I tested them before with the solar panels. They don't work. So right now we don't have any power for the solar panels anyway. But they're supposed to turn on with the battery power. They don't turn on. Not with the capacitors. Not with the capacitors installed already. That makes no difference. That's not a fix for that. We have another problem. Okay. Thank you, Cindy. I'll share this video with you. Okay. Talk to you later. Bye.